Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Friday Night Football, presented by STSPN. My name is Phil Bernard, and I'm up in the booth tonight. The game tonight will be presented by Gilpin Realty.
Hey, Phil, you have a sidekick on its way, too, don't you?
I do. Garrett is on his way, hustling his little buns down here, we hope.
All this traffic trying to get into the game. We still have fans coming in, too, at the moment.
Yeah, everything looks like it's running a little bit late. It's a beautiful day out, though, so hopefully we'll get moving right along. It's a great day for football. It looks like we're going to have a great one. Both teams having high-score games last week, so we'll look to see that continue tonight.
So it looks like they are getting ready for the coin toss there, but tell me a little bit about you. We usually have some other people in the booth here, and this is your first time with us, joining us. Tell us about yourself a little bit, Phil, will you?
Yeah, this is my first time. I'm
with us.
With you, yes, that's true.
With STSPN here at Glacier Peak Football.
With Glacier Peak, exactly. Well, I'm an Edmonds Woodway graduate, as is Gary when he comes in, so we are both from the area, big sports fans. Just looking to get into more of the broadcasting scene and have a good time. We really enjoy it. Games like this are what make it worth it, and it's going to be, I think, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Excellent. I think Ron's trying to give me the referees right now, but since I'm on your headset, it's making it a little bit hard, so I might have to get those from him in a little bit.
That's right, we can send that down to Sideline Ron and get the American Family Insurance pregame started.
Go ahead, Ron.
He doesn't have his microphone out yet. I think he thinks he's not hearing us, so we'll have to get to him in a minute.
A few early game hiccups, so we'll get those smoothed out. The drum line and the band playing. It's all very exciting. Everyone's getting ready for the game to start. We're about 10 minutes away from kickoff. Got Shoreline warming up on the field. Shoreline's cheerleaders look to be a little bit more enthused so far about the game. Don't have anyone else here to talk about predictions with, so I'm just going to go ahead and make...
Enthorn down here on the field with the head referee here, Jim Pollock. We're going to the coin toss here between Glacier Peak High School and Shorewood. We'll figure out what's going to go on here in just a minute, and hopefully that noisy band won't drown us out. Yeah. You flip, I'll be here. All right, so here we go.
We're going to play football tonight, right? Have fun. The most important part of that sentence was we're out here to have fun. So we're going to have fun because blue's going to talk to blue, white's going to talk to white. You guys are captains, and by the way, dude,
he says he's got way too much black stuff under his eyes. He's got a smile on his face.
So you guys are captains. You're the ones I'm going to come to, okay? When I have a problem, I'm coming to you, and I want you guys to take care of your men so we don't have to take. Okay, this is the tail.
Here's the toss.
And there's a head. The tail. And there's a head. We're going to let this gentleman call. What's your call?
I'll call heads.
You hear what he said? Okay, we're going to let it hit the ground. He's got a head.
Heads, what's the cost?
We'd like to defer.
Shorewood will receive.
What do you want to kick?
We want to kick that way.
Put your back over here.
All right, players in position for kicking and receiving. Shorewood deferred. Glacier Peak receiving.
Very rude. You have to introduce you to my crew. Mr. Hope's going to be out here in the middle with you. Mr. Linder will be your back judge. Mr. Furiak will be on the visitor side. Mr. DeLong will be on the home side, and I'm Jim. Any questions, anything you need to complain about, you come to me, and we'll talk, all right? As long as we're both in a civil tone, we're going to talk. You yell, we might not talk, all right?
All right, you heard it there from Jim. The man in the white hat says, come and talk to me if you got a problem. Back to you, Phil.
And we're back. Garrett now just joining us in the box.
Hey, how you doing, Phil?
Doing well. You're a little late, but we'll forgive you this time.
You know, Snohomish isn't known for its traffic, but I found it all.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be more known for farms. But we're all here now. Crew's getting ready. We've got replay Ron on stats tonight, so he's going to be. When we have Ron ready on the sidelines, we're going to take it down to Ron for a pregame interview.
All right, Ron Henthorne down here with defensive coach Steve
Hannon. Yeah, Hannon's Huddle. That's what they call that.
Huddle, yeah. So we're down here on this noisy field with the band talking, but I think this mic will carry us over. So you guys came off a win last week and had a little few defensive things to take care of. Did you take care of most of that?
Yeah, we worked on some things that we saw on film. You know, every game you see some things that you don't like and you want to go back and fix, and you focus on those things while you're preparing for a whole new offense and a whole new team. So it's always a challenge every week, and we'll see where we ended up.
All right, so I looked at the stats, and I think these guys scored like 36 or some points last week. You got something to work on there?
Well, they're better. This is a better Shorewood team than we've seen in the past, and we've struggled with Shorewood before in the past. So we think this is going to be a pretty good, pretty close football game that we're going to have to play really well to be in.
So I didn't look at how they scored those points. Was it ground or air, or how was it?
They're about a 60-40 split, so they want to run the ball 60% of the time and they throw the ball 40% of the time. So that's kind of the way that they do it.
Okay, so you got your weeks preparing for that then, I guess, huh?
Yeah, really both. That's a team that's not one-dimensional, so you can't just focus on the pass game or just focus on the run game. You got to focus on the whole offense, and that's a challenge to do. They do a good job. They're heading in the right direction.
And any special stunning you got going on this week you didn't do last week?
Yeah, we got a couple of things in. We'll see if we can't shake things up a little bit.
Give them something different to look at then, Steve.
Yeah, we'll probably do something like that.
All right, well, thanks a lot. We'll be back to talk to you right after the start of the second half.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Ron Henthorne here, back up to you, Phil, and we'll get ready this game underway in a few minutes here.
All right, so that was another interview from our sideline reporter, doing a good job down there. So, Gary, do you have any predictions for this game tonight?
You know, I think it's going to be a close one. After both teams' performance last week, they were somewhat close games. The game versus Snohomish for Glacier Peak wasn't score-wise, it wasn't very close, but they really played them tough. So I think it's going to be a close game.
At least for those first three quarters, it was a close game. Glacier Peak really sealed the deal there in the fourth quarter and then drove the points home. Got the ROTC.
What are you thinking for tonight?
I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. Both teams looking to have high-powered offenses. And as we just heard from the sidelines, with Snohomish being a run-heavy team, It'll be really important to establish that early on for them, so we'll look to see how many yards they're able to pick up on the ground.
Shorewood or Glacier Peak.
I somehow have the wrong roster in front of me.
The other roster. Playing. This is still the roster. Right, so that's Glacier Peak. We don't have yours.
All right, we have the right roster in front of us, the Shorewood Thunderbirds. Apologize for that. I'll try to refrain from making too many Thunderbirds Go references. Not too many people aware of British television.
Oh, obscure reference there, Phil.
Yeah, you know, we'll see how it goes as the night goes on. I'll try to control myself.
So, score predictions. What do you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Glacier Peak 35, Shorewood 21.
Oh, okay, so not super close.
Not super close, but I think it's going to be a closer game. Maybe a little tighter than the scoreline will indicate, but you know, obviously what matters is that final scoreline and how many times you actually get those points up.
So I'm going more with a barn burner here. See what I did there, barn burner?
Yeah, barn burner now that we're out in the farms, yeah.
So I'm going Glacier Peak 31, Shorewood 28.
Oh, that's pretty good. And looking out at the power field, I'll go with saying the game's going to be electrifying.
Oh, look at that.
Puns flying hot and heavy already.
It is a warm night, if you must say so.
Oh, that was bad. That one needed a little more time in the oven. So, band is quiet, which is a nice respite for us up in the box. Players coming out of the tunnel now. Shorewood takes the field.
So, important note here for tonight's game. For Glacier Peak, it's a red, white, and blue night.
Yeah, I was noting that earlier in the pre-game that all the students are wearing red, white, and blue. Got flags and little star antenna sticking off. See a lot of them having that. It's a nice thing to see out here tonight on this date.
Can't help but notice all the Seahawk fans as well for a Blue Friday.
Well, conveniently, blue is part of red, white, and blue, so they share that in common.
You don't say.
I do, actually. We're now waiting for Glacier Peak to take the field. There they are. Crowd welcoming their home team to the field. Cheerleaders showing off a little bit.
So tonight we got the Glacier Peak in the darks and Shorewood in the white.
Yes, that's right. Very observant.
Shorewood's got a lot bigger team than I thought.
Shorewood you can just see from here that their roster's a pretty large one. Players extending all the way across the field. See how many of those players actually make it out onto the field tonight. As the ROTC walks out to the center of the field for the national anthem.
It's kind of a Glacier Peak trick to bring everybody and stretch it out across the field.
It's good to know. It's a bit of mental warfare before the game.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you go, Phil. And then with the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance said, we can move in and get closer to game time. And one of the questions leading into this game for Glacier Peak is how they're going to handle their quarterback situation. Last week, they shared the duties with Devin Rainbow taking over most of the work, but we also saw the freshman Aiden Ziomas take the field. And so what do you think we're going to see tonight?
I think it's going to be much the same. Rainbow had quite the game last week. Very dynamic. And so hopefully he recovers from that injury and gets back out in the field and can really lead this team to victory.
Yeah, we'll see that. Another storyline coming into this game is last week's star Guffey putting on such a dominant performance with 141 yards completion and 2 touchdowns, and also scoring on 2 kickoff returns. So it's
and not to mention he threw a 17-yard touchdown pass himself. Kind of an all-around jack of all trades.
Yeah, it's a heck of a game for a player, and it'll be interesting to see if he's able to follow that up with another performance.
I mean, think about that. Opening up your senior season, scoring 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
By catching, and just as a receiver, then returning 2, and then throwing 1.
Yep, it's got to feel great. That's nothing better than scoring. Nothing better than.
What didn't he do last week? Is my question.
He didn't do a dance. He didn't win a dance competition.
Okay. That seems fair.
Yeah. And again, as we get ready to go into the game, that was the pre-game brought to you by American Family Insurance, and our presenting sponsor tonight is Gilpin Realty, bringing you this exciting, or what we hope to be an exciting, Friday night game.
A special thanks to American Family Insurance for our pregame here.
Sally Petty.
Specifically to Sally Petty, agent with American Family Insurance. Players are now taking the field for kickoff.
Looks like quite the crowd out here for tonight, too.
Yeah, it's a good turnout. We got the students with their hands in the air, ready to go.
Are they waving them like they just don't care?
They're doing some sort of clapping ritual, Garrett.
A little Queen reference there?
Yeah, it seems to be. I approve of that. That's a good idea. Shorewood is getting ready to kick.
And the kick is underway.
Ball caught and returning.
Looks like number 24, Colton Burt.
Pretty good return there, back out to about the 22-yard line. They're marking him down at the 21. So now I think we'll get our first look about our quarterback question. See who comes out under center first. It's been a long time since I've been to a high school football game. I don't know about you, Garrett.
Yeah, it's been a few years. It's good to see the crowds really energized, and good to hear the high school bands again. There's nothing like a high school band really to kind of get you underway for a Friday night.
Says the band member.
You know, you reference what you love, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So looks like under quarterback it's going to be Rainbow.
That's good to see him out there. See if that hand troubles him. Looks like they're going to throw in the first play. It's an incomplete pass. Looking for number 1, Dexter Carter.
Just missed him there. A little too far. Put a little bit too much juice on that ball.
Yeah, and that could be part of that hand injury, or it could just be early game jitters. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Second down coming up.
Doesn't appear to be wrapped his hand at all or anything like that, so I'm guessing jitters on that one.
Yeah, that's probably a good guess. Hands the ball off to Carter. Carter running forward down the middle of the field. Picked up about 6 yards.
Nice second down gain. Make a pretty easy third down chance here.
Yeah, it gives you third down and manageable anyway. That's what you want to establish early on is a running presence to allow the rest of your team to open up. Fake. Sorry.
Off to Carter again.
Carter again. And he'll be brought down after gaining about another 7 yards, and that is an Umpqua Bank first down.
That was a takedown by Anthony Collins. Nice open field tackle.
That was a good tackle. That was one of those plays where a lot more damage could have been done than there was.
It's a really tough spot for a corner to really step up and tackle the running back in the open field like that. It's well done.
Absolutely. I want to compliment them on that fake and catching me on it.
That's why they call it a fake, Phil.
Not faking it this time. Carter getting the ball again.
Listen, if Dexter gets into open field, he's gone.
And that's what we're looking for. So that was, again, a great job by the Shorewood defender to make
Looks
the
like they're going to try to keep all the plays in front of him tonight with knowing that he has that speed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good strategy. Give that contain. Come down for a
So they got
second.
3 lined up to the right. I'm guessing it might be a pass play here.
Going up for that. This was actually a handoff. Dexter getting a full head of steam and barreling over tacklers. Picked up enough yards for another Umpqua Bank first down, bringing the ball across midfield to about the 48.
Another great tackle by Devin Wolhoff.
Yeah, Dexter's a real competitor.
Yeah, he seems to play hard. He hit hard there and didn't quit.
It's always great to see a running back just lower their shoulder when they anticipate the contact coming and get an extra yard or 2 out of that play.
Yeah, it's so important. Yards after contact being such an important stat for running backs.
We know a little something about that here in Seattle, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Slot pass out to the side.
Goes out to Colton Brunt.
Colton Brunt making it and somehow making it appear to be across the first down mark for another Umpqua Bank first down. It's about a 12-yard gain, so a very successful play. It looked like the defense bit on the fake a little bit.
Well, Bunt is very, very slippery. He's just like Dexter. If he gets an open field, he's gone.
He really showed his motor off there.
Glacier Peak already showing off their dangerous offensive weapons and why their games can be so high scoring.
Empty
Open backfield. I'm jinx on that one. Almost an offsides there on the defense. Coach signaling for a slight shift in formation. Dexter back to the backfield. Drops back, passes down the field to
Looking
a
for
wide
Hatch.
Oh, he was open.
He was open, just overthrown.
Looks like Hatch had about 3 steps on the defenders and just couldn't connect with his quarterback.
It's early in the season. It's only second game. Could still be working out some of those chemistry. Later in the season, we'll see some of those get dropped cleanly into his arms.
Now, what do you see here? Another run, pass? What are you thinking?
I can see him going for another pass. They go for a run, handing it off to Dexter, who finds the hole and pushes forward for about 4 yards. It's a good run. He was in a large hole, and he had to take a bit of an extra step to get through it, but he found it, found a little bit of daylight, and picked up a few yards to make third down a little bit easier.
He sure does not go down on his first touch, does he?
No, he really doesn't. He truly is a fighter and is a huge asset to this team. Fake, keeps it, passes it out.
Ooh, to Bunt.
To Bunt. Bunt pushing through. Ball
come
comes
out.
loose. Looks like it's recovered by Glacier Peak.
And it is recovered by
It is
Glacier Peak.
so therefore, it is another Umpqua Bank first down. Glacier Peak getting a little fortunate there.
You know, not the typical way you want to pick up a first down, but still works, doesn't it?
That was a little bit more drama than they were expecting. Couldn't quite see who was able to recover it. Moving the chains. Players back and set up. Handed off to Dexter, running through the middle, baited down and into the end zone. Touchdown, Glacier Peak.
What was the flag?
Looks like there was a flag on the play.
Yeah, if you hear any hesitation in my voice, because it appears to be a flag down. It's a false start on the offense. That was a big part of the storyline last week for anyone who watched the game of Glacier Peak's game. Was early in the game, penalties kept bringing them back. False start here. negates a Dexter run for a touchdown.
How many yards was that?
Yeah, so that was really about a 22-yard penalty because it brings it back from the end zone, back to about the 22-yard line. Play getting called in.
Yet again, though, even though it got called back, he got hit once and he still just runs right through that contact. It's great to see.
That was a great run. Ball handed off to Blunt, running to the side, and he's into the touchdown. Touchdown, Glacier.
Touchdown.
You got to put more than one guy on Bunt.
That was a McDaniels do it center touchdown for Glacier Peak, opening touchdown on the first drive of the game.
That was a great run by Colton Bunt.
That was really a good run. I don't think that the Snohomish was ready for it. Colton's a junior, so it's his third year, really looking to make his mark in the varsity. And that's good to see that early potential from a player. It looks like they're going to be going for two. Lined up for a kick and then shifted wide.
Well, they like to shift it back and forth.
There's the snap. It looks like he's going to try to run it in. Glacier Peak indicating that it's in, and it looks like that is.
They did.
2 points, Glacier Peak. I think that was Andrew McCoy running the ball, but I couldn't quite tell. That's 8 points early on.
Even though we didn't see him out there, a little fun fact is their kicker is also a soccer player. Not too often you see that crossover.
Well, last year we had a senior who was Pettit. He's one of the best in the nation. He was also a soccer player. He played, he had records of like 56-yard field goals. We called him the weapon.
That sounds like he was a weapon.
At any point, you could bring him out and get 3 points.
Those special team plays are so important. You're seeing that more and more with soccer players converting to that kicker.
There's even a kicker at the college level who's a rugby player.
Yeah, rugby also moving over a lot of times with the punt. So it was a 78-yard drive with 2 passes for Glacier Peak. A couple opportunities for big passes that fell down. Glacier Peak lining up to kick it.
Kevin Ramsey kicks it off.
Squib kick. Picked up just outside the 20. Number 1 running wide. That is number 1, Ronnie Gary.
And
Dexter just nailed it.
A big hit by Dexter.
Dexter runs a 4.640, so he's pretty fast.
He's incredibly fast and an important player for this team on both sides of the ball. We'll see if Snohomish or Shorewood can answer that opening drive and get some points on the board of their own.
Shorewood has never been known as a powerhouse, but this year they've got a lot of people talking about him.
Yeah, that opening game against Everett was a bit of a heartbreaker, losing 35-36.
Okamara taking the snap.
Drops back, flicks it to the side. Isaac Whitaker with the ball, trying to make something of it, and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Too much time in the backfield.
And got to move the ball north and south.
I'd like to see him kind of take some more movement first and get a more forward pass up the line there.
I'm sure what they're going to be looking to do as they go forward is try to get something a little bit more positive than that. And if you notice, with Shorewood using college-style boards to signal the plays onto the field.
Those really become popular last couple years, ever since Oregon.
Yeah, everybody copies Oregon. A bit of a fake that did nothing to fool the defense. 3 Glacier Peak players in on the tackle.
Huge tackle in the backfield by Van Ness.
Shot the gap and got right through.
Senior making a big play.
So now it's 3rd and 13 here for Shorewood, looking to get something out of this drive. And even if it's just making it a little bit easier for them on defense with better field position. It's not the kind of start you want mentally either.
You really can't go 3 and out in that first drive. That really sets you back for the rest of the game.
Kamara ready for the snap. Takes it himself. Being pursued. He's still scrambling. Throws the ball downfield. It was caught.
And a heck of a catch on the sideline there.
Is that enough for a first?
Yeah, it looks like it might be enough for a first down. We'll see what the referees indicate. 4th down. 4th and 3.
Boy, that was a nice recovery.
It really was.
Really got a lot of the field back there. And good effort by Ronnie Gary to get open for his quarterback and really make that catch and tiptoe the sideline there.
Yeah, it was a heck of a focused play there to make sure he stayed in bounds.
And they're going for it.
They're going for it. It's a bold move early on their first drive.
An away game going for it. Their first drive on 4th and, what was that, 2 or 3?
Well, these are the type of plays that can shift momentum back into your favor.
And a fake
Takes it
handoff.
off, doesn't fill him at all.
Shakes off
a
the tackle.
but can't shake off the rest of the team.
Huge
Looks like
swarming defense there.
Hey,
Andrew McCoy finishing that whole play off right there.
going for 4th down, looking like not the right decision. That was about a 10-yard loss.
That is a gutsy play.
That was gutsy. That really didn't play out. That puts Shorewood's defense in a terrible position.
Well, one thing it says about the coach is that he's got a lot of faith in his players.
That's very true. We'll see if they calling on the defense now to make a big stop. Following the 25-yard, or actually not even 24-yard line.
I'm not sure he'll try that twice.
Yeah, I don't expect him to do that again. But hey, who knows?
I mean, sometimes that's what it takes. Hand off the left side to number 5.
Devin Wolhoff.
Devin Wolhoff taking the ball for his first carry of the game.
Nice little end-around play to gain 5 on the first down. I like the call.
Yeah, and he's listed as a wideout, so bit of a misdirection play there, moving players around. It's an advantage for Glacier Peak to have players who can do so many different things. Ball kept, but tackled.
Almost avoided the tackle there.
That was a good tackle by Alex Solomon. Open field, preventing any more yards from being gained. That could have been a big gain if they had gotten past him. Rainbow showing off that he has good speed as well as throwing abilities.
Great mobility there.
3rd and 6. Snap coming in now. Ball thrown and in and out of the hands of his receiver. It was number 13.
Alex Garrett. It's a great name.
Yeah, I mean, you would say so. That was an opportunity there for Glacier Peak. It was a catchable ball, maybe not the easiest, but that's one that is definitely catchable.
So it looks like 4th and 6. They might roll the dice and take a shot here.
Well, you might as well, after seeing it go the other way for the other team. Really drive a dagger into him if you get it.
Well, Rory Rosenbaugh's never seen a 4th down he doesn't like.
Whoa, trickery. Oh, shakes off the first tackle.
Like it might have been a block in the back, though.
Shook off the first tackle of Jesse Reynolds there, but kept on moving, and we'll see what the flag's all about.
There's a block in the back, but we'll see what the flag is for.
They'll decline it.
Yeah, if it is the block in the back, they'll decline it, opting to take possession of the ball. So if that is what the call is, either way, that's 2 failed fourth down attempts in a row. Both teams coming out aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Should make for an exciting game if that aggression keeps up.
Looks like the penalty was declined.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Cunios for returning to our broadcast. Got Shannon down on the camera, and her husband there is standing right behind her. They're the owners of Cunios Restaurant. They are really good friends of the show, and they've got a freshman that's working his way up in the football program too.
It's very exciting. And
Thank you, Shannon.
Heard rumors that you yourself have a child playing in the game tonight, Todd.
He is standing right down there in the sidelines.
Oh, it looks like it was scored as a legal forward pass.
Oh, interesting.
That is interesting.
Didn't see that part of it. So we're not sure exactly that. So it's two forward passes was what the call was, which is an illegal play.
So either way,
snaps
Shorewood
the ball off. Another fake handoff. He rolls to his left, throws down the field, caught but out of bounds.
Ronnie Gary's showing some really sticky hands there.
Yeah, he is. He's got a quarterback not making it easy for him with those sideline passes.
Great field awareness, though. Really know where the sideline is at all points. He was close to keeping that inbounds there.
That would have been a tremendous play. As it is now second down, 10 yards to go. You saw there that there was also good penetration by the Glacier Peak defense getting through the offensive line of Shorewood. It's been on almost every single play.
Kind of been the story of the night so far.
So we're going to have to, if the Shorewood wants any chance of this game, their offensive line is going to have to step up and give their quarterback a little bit of time.
So far, the Grizzlies have been really winning the battle in the trenches, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Another fake handoff. Again, not fooled as Glacier Peak. Quarterback just
goes down.
Falls down. I don't blame him facing three players.
Yeah, I think he probably tripped, but Glacier Peak is so fast on defense.
That speed is so important. And so far they've also been great at analyzing the play and not falling for any of the misdirection. There's been a fake handoff on almost every play.
Shorewood rushing is -17.
So far on the night, Shorewood is at -17 yards rushing overall.
That's pretty harmful, and they're a 60% rushing team. 60% of -17 is 60% of your offense. That's not a real great number.
Looks like they got the screenplay going.
Ball brought back to where the marker was, line of scrimmage.
Well, you got to say that he really showed poise as he was backing up. He still kept his eyes on the receiver.
He really did, and that's again Aaron Okamura, with the great field awareness, avoiding the Glacier Peak players and at least getting a pass off.
They really sniffed out that screenplay, though, didn't they? They had two guys waiting for him right there.
They really did. I'm gonna see.
And Colton Bunt is back to receive the punt. We got a timeout on the field.
Timeout Snohomish. T-Birds taking a timeout.
Glacier Peak or Shorewood?
The Thunderbirds, the Shorewood Thunderbirds.
You see those capital SHO and you think Snohomish for some reason.
We're
going back in time here.
Yeah.
Well, we're at Snohomish.
Yeah, it's my fault. I don't know why my brain's not working tonight.
That's all right, Phil. You only get used to it by doing it. And we really appreciate you coming out here and helping us out tonight.
That's a lot of fun. It's my pleasure.
Scott and Tim are off in the wild blue yonder. In fact, I got a text from Tim say that he was just getting on a plane headed for Dallas.
I'm not the only one having issues with cities tonight, then.
No. I just can't talk. That's all. That's why I don't do what you do.
Play about to resume. First punt of the night is away.
And we want to mention that timeout was presented by Fred's Rivertown Ale House.
Fred's Rivertown.
Fred's Rivertown Ale House down here on 1st Street in Snohomish. Actually Snohomish, I got that one right.
Not in Shorewood?
Not in Shorewood.
Oh, okay.
No, this is in Snohomish.
We love Fred's. In fact, I got a text from Mark earlier. Going to go down there on Monday and make sure that he's got all of his equipment working right because they broadcast these games live in the bar there.
Is that where we're heading after the game? Your treat? Is that what I hear?
That's what I'm talking about. Look, see, Leslie looks over here and goes, yeah, that tight wad isn't doing nothing.
On the night I can't make it.
Oh, she can't make it.
Okay, well then I
think then that's a sign that he's buying.
Dexter running to the left, making a few moves, dodging players. made it far enough for another Umpqua Bank first down. About a 12-yard pickup.
Nice job on the defense there for not letting him loose.
One of these, he's going to break through that first defensive wall, and he's out of there.
A few more steps there, and he would have been past everybody. Nothing between him and the end zone. Rainbow dropping back, keeping it himself, running down the middle. He's got room and runs out of bounds just short of the first down marker.
And that was really awesome because, you know, the offensive line there just opened up a hole.
They really spread
and
that.
He just stepped through it.
That was great vision and awareness by the quarterback. Haven't seen too many passing attempts from him yet. But the ground game for Glacier Peak working so well so far.
Well, you know what everybody says, if your ground game's working, you can air it out anytime you want.
Exactly.
It looks like they're
there
going.
It is, thrown high over the head of number 2, Zach Hatch.
That's the second one for him tonight, getting it a little bit beyond the runner.
Seems like he's beating the cornerbacks real on that first couple steps, but it seems like the quarterback just can't make that connection with him.
He's just leading him a little bit too far.
Rainbow's 2 for 7.
Rainbow now 2 for 7. It's a bit of a rocky start, but we'll see how he plays as the game goes on. That hand may be bothering him.
No, his hand is fine.
Hand off to Dexter.
Dexter running. Flag on the field, but he brings it down to the 20-yard line. We'll see what that flag is.
That'll be a holding.
17 yards.
Yep.
Ronnie Gary with the tackle from the Thunderbirds.
That was another costly penalty for Glacier Peak. Second one so far this game. That's twice that they've had big plays overturned by a foul.
-10, we lost 27 on this one.
So the ball comes back. Ref walking it back.
Looks like it's at the 48-yard line.
That was a huge penalty. That was almost 25-yard penalty.
3 minutes left in the first quarter here.
Players looking to the sideline for their play. Feel the temperature starting to cool down up here in the box. It's going to be a lovely evening. The lights are starting to come on. Rainbow throws it out wide.
Number 34.
Got a full head of steam. Brings a couple tackles with him. That was about a 20-yard play. That's an Umpqua Bank first down.
That was by Ian Black. That's a huge pickup on third down.
Ian Black, he's always dangerous.
That's a 19-yard gain by Black there.
Heck of a play. He was
to see what I sound like.
He was a big kid in the big play.
A lot of seniors making a big mark on this game tonight.
Rainbow drops back, throws it again to Black, who's running to the left. He's got a space. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Glacier Peak.
And that's actually a bunt, a touchdown bunt.
Is that 24?
That's 24.
Colton punt. You got to love that guy. What do you think, Lou? How you like your boy? We know Lou Bunt. Jose West go out there. He's pretty proud of that boy.
I can see why. That was a heck of a play. My apologies on getting another name wrong.
That was a McDaniels Do It Center touchdown. Snohomish is in Arlington tonight. We'll have to take a look and see if we can get some updates on some scores.
Players coming to the sideline. About 2.5 minutes left on the clock.
All right, we'll be right back after this message.
Kicker is. Do we have a light? I can't read the. Oh, perfect. There we go. Okay. That'll help.
And you're back.
We started at the 48.
And we're back. was a 52-yard drive for Glacier Peak. Grizzlies racking up a 15-point lead early in the game.
Should mention the extra point was good by Kevin Ramsey. That kicker that has big shoes to fill after the kicker from last year.
Yeah, it's hard to fill the place of someone whose nickname is The Weapon.
It's a heck of a nickname.
That's right, too. You like that?
Yeah, it's a heck of a nickname. I wish I had a cool nickname like that.
I'm sure that Pettit is watching right now because he was texting us last week during that game.
Ramsey with a high kick.
Drop return, but it would be called down when his knee hit the ground.
Looks like Cole Hutt muffed the kick there and works out for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, there's no return there. Gives them poor field position starting this drive. And they're looking to really get anything started. Snohomish, or Shorewood, did it again. Had to correct myself. Shorewood taking the field, looking to get anything started here. Ball snapped and flipped out wide. Puts his shoulder down and gets a few yards. That was Isaac Whitaker.
I think they're spending too much time in the backfield. That he's a little bit too far back when he did the pitch. He's got to get up closer and he's got to get out in the open.
Yeah, they're setting themselves up about 5 yards back every play, and so just making it back to about the line of scrimmage. Now they've got a 2nd and about 6.
I just told her to just chill out and just deal with it. I'm really sorry that I couldn't have.
See if they can get perhaps a passing play with some forward yards. Looks like it's a run.
Looks like he's stopped in the backfield there.
Doesn't really get anything. Maybe a yard.
And she can't hear anything with this. You know, the noise down there.
It looks like he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
She can hear you guys.
Quite the swarming defense there by the Grizzlies yet again. Just clogging up the middle and not letting their running game get anywhere. Still negative yards overall.
So far, we haven't seen enough out of the Thunderbirds. They're going to have to
go. Thunderbirds go, right?
Have to go. Thunderbirds go.
Well,
and we've got Aaron Okamura, who's number 2, so that'd be Thunderbird 2 is go, but Soren hasn't been. It looks like he's going to try for a pass now. Avoids the tackle long enough, throws it as he's getting hit, lands incomplete. He was looking for Ronnie Gary.
A huge rush off the end from number 42. Ricky Kranz there, junior.
Looks like they're learned their lesson last drive and are going to go for the punt. That'd be a pretty incredibly bold move to go for 2 4th downs in this area of the field in a row.
Hey, Ron, you down there?
Trying to get a hold of our sideline reporter, Ron. Kick is off, makes it about to midfield, bounces down to
Takes a Thunderbirds bounce, really.
That was a fortunate bounce. Gets down to about the 35-yard line, which is where Glacier Peak will take over. Fortunately for the Thunderbirds anyway, yes.
Hey, Ron, can you hear us down there on the sideline?
Looks like we're not having any luck. We'll keep trying as the game goes on.
Ron had some crazy predictions last week with some trickery with the kicking, so I thought I might send it down to him to see what he's thinking for this week.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a hold of him and his full predictions.
With 37 seconds to go, looks like we have a timeout by the Grizzlies.
Second timeout of the game. That's another Fred Rivertown Ale House timeout. And gotta tell you, after this long week, popping down to an ale house sounds great. Especially they've got 21 beer establishments around the country. They've got 50 custom brews on tap. That sounds like my kind of place.
It's not a bad place to go after a game.
Try one of each.
It looks like it's pretty loud down on the sidelines. Ron, can you hear us? Ron?
Being told we got to yell down to him. Ron, can you hear us down on the sidelines? Seems like we're not able to get down to him. Sorry for yelling in your ears there. Play is off. Rainbow drops back. Throws the ball down the field. Caught at the 40-yard line.
A huge catch by Seaver Soundhard.
That was an amazing play and more than enough for Umpqua Bank first down.
Quite the slot play there.
It was a great catch. It was a 27-yard completion.
Hand off to Dexter. Gets bumped in the backfield. Around the edge. Can't seem to get around the corner.
Just couldn't quite find daylight there. He got hit before he could get any momentum going and did good to fight back and not lose any yards.
Going back to that pass play on first down, that was huge that their running game's really gotten them to be tight right there, and then you run a guy up the seam there and just easy yards almost.
Yeah, it really seemed like it was. You got running receivers. That was the end of the first quarter. The score is 15 Glacier Peak, 0 Shorewood. So it's a good early lead for Glacier Peak, the home team, here on this USA night.
So how would you assess that first quarter?
Well, I mean, it's hard to ignore the fact that Shorewood is still in negative yards offensively, but both teams looking to establish themselves. Glacier Peak showing off their variety of weapons and how, what I was really impressed with the players who were doing everything. We had players who were they were playing as receivers, they were blocking, and they were running the ball. And that's impressive to get that kind of production.
Yards, maybe 150 to -20.
So it's looking like the total yards so far, just like you mentioned it, Phil. It's Glacier Peak has close to 150 yards of total offense, and Shorewood sitting at a measly -18.
Yes, that is a large difference, Garrett, for those of our viewers at home who are numerically challenged. But
Talk louder. Get some energy. You can't hear me that way.
we're gonna try to talk to Ron now. There's a small lull. Ron, can you hear us down on the sideline?
Can't hear you down here. So ready to start the second quarter here, and Glacier Peak with the ball. Here we go.
Rainbow back with the snap. Going deep.
Too long layout there by number 21. That's Justin Guffey, who had such a big game last week.
Ron, how's it going for you on the sideline? What do you think of that first quarter?
Gonna get back to the plays on the field. We'll try to get down to Ron when we get him able to hear us a little bit better.
Ron, can you hear us?
Got you loud and clear down here. Third down. Let's see if they're going to throw this pass down here again.
Looks like it went to Dexter. Dexter on the edge.
Big run, found room around the edge, brings it down to about the 23-yard line. It's an Umpqua Bank first down. It's an impressive run. Dexter continuing to rack up the yards.
Making everyone miss.
So I'm under good authority that Spencer Pettit is at Harris in Reno. The whole team there that he's on is staying there overnight because they've got a game tomorrow. So what do you think, Spencer? Your old team is doing what they do.
So after that 15-yard run to Dexter there, let's see what they come out with here. Rainbow back with the snap. Going back to Dexter again.
Dexter's right up the middle, fighting his way, shaking tacklers and fighting his way down to about the 15-yard line.
It's close to an 8-yard gain there.
He just does not quit. He's got that rare combination of speed and strength, really putting both of those to his advantage tonight.
I got Dexter at about 70 yards rushing.
Dexter at 70 yards rushing here early in the second quarter, so that's shaping up to be a great night for him. Rainbow with the ball, throws it wide to Dexter. Dexter running around towards the edge, gets some room, pushes the tacklers forward just short of the 5-yard line. Another Umpqua Bank first down, just short of the end zone there.
Looks like Dexter's a little slow to get up there. Hopefully that's just fatigue setting in a little bit from over 70 yards rushing so far.
Yeah, looks like he's coming to the sideline. Probably give him a rest, catch his breath.
Let's see if they don't air it out here with Dexter on the sideline. Go back to bunt or hatch there.
Good options.
I don't think he's going to air it out too much because there's only about 10 yards to this.
Contact made in the backfield, but he shakes it off, running around back to the white, going up the middle. Fights his way back. It looks like it was a couple-yard loss, but it was still a tremendous effort.
By Ian Black. Looks like he ran about 30 yards just to almost get back to the line of scrimmage, but it looks like he still lost about 2 yards on the play, but really making something out of nothing, or nothing out of nothing, I'd say.
Hey, prevented it from being a big loss and showed off his strength and athleticism and shaking it off.
Second and goal from the 10.
Ball snapped, handed off, running to the right, fighting his way down to the 3rd-yard line.
Devin Wolhoff.
It's Devin Wolhoff. That was a 5-yard gain. Now 3rd and 4. Or 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line.
About 10 minutes ago here in the second half. First half, I should say, second quarter.
Yes, this Glacier Peak run game is really running the clock down quickly. Chewing it up. Ball snapped, carried up the middle. Fights his way, falls forward, down into the touchdown. Touchdown, Glacier Peak. That was Ian Black.
Well, he did all the work to get it down there, so they decided, well, we'll give you the ball and let you carry it in.
Absolutely. In a few plays.
He deserved that touchdown, I'd say, for sure.
That's a hard thing for a team to stop when a team has 2 people who can run it that well.
65-yard drive.
It was a 65-yard drive, and the kick is up. And refs show that it is good.
Another great extra point by Ramsey.
Showing those kicking skills. We haven't seen him kick a field goal yet, but perfect so far on the extra point. Score is now 22-0.
With about 9 minutes and 39 seconds to go.
Looking like my prediction might be a little ways off so far.
I think both of our predictions might be quite a bit off.
We got the
We'll be right
cheerleader.
back after a short message from Edmonds Woodway. That would be Edmonds Community College, not Edmonds Woodway. Sorry about that.
We're having a bit of disconnect between our brains and our mouths here up in the booth tonight, so thank you for bearing with us.
Well, our regular team is gone, so, you know, I'm not used to it, you're not used to it, but you know what? A few more games, and we got her fixed up.
On our belt.
We'll be the regular team at this rate.
Ball being returned back out to the 20-yard line, stopped there. That was a good return, possibly out to about, looks like it's being marked down at about the 21-yard line.
Can't help but notice there, every touchdown for the Grizzlies looks like the cheerleaders do some push-ups.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a tradition, I think, maybe picked up from our friend, the Oregon Duck. Right, this game's going. Their arm's going to be real tired by the end of it. I mean, by the end of the season, if you put up as many points as Glacier Peak did last week and looks to do this week, expect these cheerleaders to be up there with weightlifting professionals. Work on those guns.
Alcamura back, getting ready to take the snap. 24 in motion.
Ball handed off, right up the middle. Good run there. About 6 yards. Didn't quite catch who the run carrier was there. Looks like it might have been
Kaimani Aki.
Good run. That's looking to be the run game that Shorewood looks to establish.
Looks like Aki lined up in the backfield again. Akamura getting ready to take the snap.
Whistle on the field.
Looks like a delay of game called from the back judge.
So first penalty on Shorewood. They just took one of those situations of one step forward, one step back. And he erases that first run.
Just when they were starting to get some good offensive production, penalty just sets them right back.
We've got excitement up here in the box as our producer's kid is on the field playing for Glacier Peak. Fighting down the middle, though, on another really impressive run is Aki.
Wow, you know, you can see really good with binoculars. I gotta tell you, the whole game just completely changes when you look through these things.
I'll have to make sure I bring a pair of those next game. Make it a little bit easier to read these numbers.
Looks like it's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Thunderbirds.
Akamura back in the pistol formation.
See if they can get...
Player in motion, hands it off. Fighting forward.
Looks like his forward progress might have just got him there.
It's right on the line. Looked like... We'll wait to see where that's spotted. That's a close one. He's giving it to him. That's an Umpqua Bank first down for Shorewood. That's their first of the game.
7:46 to go, and their first down in the game. That's no, I don't think that was written in their game plan for this game.
Well, it's not the start you want, but you got to credit them for continuing to fight. And if they can keep building this momentum into the game, they can fight their way back into it. It's by no means over.
See if they can get some points on the board before the first half comes to a close and come out firing the second half.
Akamura shifting the formation a little bit. Takes the snap, hands it off in the middle of the field. Falling forward is number 21, Justin Cho. Got a couple yards on the play there.
A lot of movement in the backfield. I can't help but notice that they have a lot of moving pieces. Always looking to have that trickery in action.
I was seeing those handoffs to different players in different areas.
Well, we can give a shout out to Merlin Packer in Utah, watching his grandson play.
Thanks for watching.
It's got to be exciting to see him out there. Play with in motion again, rolling to his right, throws it down the field, caught by Cho again and tackled right at about the first down marker. So it looks like it was about 1 yard short of the first down, but it was a good play there. That was Akamura really showing off his awareness. He's done a good job. He's been under pressure all night, but has done a good job of extending plays and trying to make something out of them. Got a good gain there. Trying to convert for their second.
3rd and 1 here, huge play at midfield.
Hands the ball off, bounces around, didn't look like he quite got there.
The spot might be a generous spot here for the Thunderbirds.
Oh, forward progress, are you kidding me?
Disbelief from the Glacier Peak fans.
Hey Ron, did you get a good look at that? How close are we?
Well, I got a pretty good look at it down here, and they're giving me a real favorable spot on that, and I think it's going to be a first down, and it is.
And it is an Umpqua Bank first down.
Let it be known, Ron called that first.
Thank you, Ron.
Great eyes down there, Ron. Thank you so much.
Going down, that was a sideline report brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Our sideline reporter down there, Ron, doing a good job.
Well done to Shorewood for getting it that forward.
Yeah, it was this drive, their longest of the game so far.
Regardless of what we think up here in the booth.
You can hear a little bit of bias from our producer who, again, has a player down the field, ball bobbled. but
looks like it hit the ground first.
Incomplete.
Good to see back-to-back first downs going for the Thunderbirds. See if they can just string some more together and march it down on and get a touchdown.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get your way back into a game. A touchdown here for them would do good going into the halftime.
Well, we see it over and over again where the score goes up by 15 points or whatever, and the other team just keeps fighting, and all of a sudden they find their way back into the game.
Yeah, you never stop fighting in a game like this.
Don't ever want to lose your concentration.
No, Isaac Whitaker in motion again. Snap comes off and looks like no gain. So we'll have about a 3rd and 10.
From about the 43-yard line.
Shorewood looking to get the ball out of their side of the field for the first time tonight. Those small mental victories there that can really help a team keep focus and motivation.
We are under 5 minutes to go here in the first half.
That clock does continue to click down. Defense cheer started by the home crowd here.
Looks like we finally got a timeout here just before the play clock expired. Their second timeout of the half.
That is another Fred's Rivertown Ale House timeout. It's great.
And we'll be right back.
And we're back. Players getting back out onto the field.
So we have a 3rd down and 10 here from the 43-yard line. Let's see if Shorewood can make some magic happen and convert here.
Yeah. Looking to get across the line, getting their players into position. Okamura calls for it. Snap is off. He drops back. Throws
Going
it deep down the field. Almost caught. Could have been a big play for them there. He just overthrew Ronnie Gary.
It looks like it went right through his hands.
That was a good throw, just missed on the catch. Could have been a big shift in this game for Shorewood.
I think if he would have caught that, he would have been gone.
He had a couple steps on the defenders there, it looked like. That was a great play for him. It looks like they might be trying to decide on whether to go for it again.
I think the offense is still on the field.
It looks like it. It looks like they're going to be going for 4th down again. So another brave call. But at this point in the game, you got to start thinking about ways to get yourself back into it. Okamura, again under center.
Takes a snap.
Drops back. Goes to throw it. Tucks it. Runs to his left. Throws the ball down the field. Couple open players. They aren't able to make the catch. Another good job by Okamura keeping that play alive and giving one of his receivers a chance to make a play on it, but was unable to convert.
Looks like Whitaker and Cho both had a chance on that ball, and neither one of them were able to come up with it.
I'd like to point out the good sportsmen on the both sides of the team, both sides of the field there. Those players were helping each other up and congratulating each other on the hard work. That's what you really like to see in high school level sports, and it can be so fun about them.
What it's really all about when it comes down to it in the end is sportsmanship.
Yeah, the referee you could hear early in the game with Ron down on the coin flip. You could hear the referee saying the most important thing tonight was that we were out here to have fun. Ball handed off to Dexter, moving up the middle, pushing tacklers and fighting for extra yards.
Well, there's a real happy fan down there.
Yeah, you can hear some whoops coming from the crowd.
Oh, Aiden.
Well, snap, thrown to the sideline, deflected, and it looked like it might have been caught. Wait to see, and it looks like it was. Interception for Shorewood. That could be huge. That was number
And that was a new quarterback. That was Yilmaz, who did end up throwing that interception there. It looked like Rainbow was off the field.
So they made a switch, and on his first pass attempt was picked off. That was a tremendous play by, looked like Alex Solomon on the defense, getting his hand up and deflecting the ball and then having the focus to come down with it. I think that might have been the play of the night.
Thunderbirds getting another chance here.
Hand the ball off, running straight ahead for a couple of yards.
Let's hope that injury is not acting up for Rainbow again and that the coach was just giving him a little breather, being up 22-0, maybe just see if Yilmaz can finish out the half for the team, but that was a costly change there.
Let's clarify his hand. There's nothing wrong with his hand. There was a little something in the last game, but it was perfectly fine. We talked with Coach Rowe, and he said every week is a competed week for both quarterbacks, and he's going to let both of them play, and whoever's got the hot hand will be the one that finishes out the game.
That was a fortunate start for Yeoman. Ball thrown down the field by Okamura. Again, overthrowing
there's going to be
Ronnie Gary, but it looks like the field, flag on the field. Looks like an indication is that it will be a pass interference, which would be a costly penalty again for Glacier Peak, giving Shorewood an opportunity to really make their first positive drive of the game. See where they end up marking it.
Well, pass interference at the prep level is a little bit different than pros. Pros is from the spot of the foul.
Is it 15 here?
Should be a 15-yard.
Looks like it is.
So a 15-yard penalty, which I guess also turns it into an Umpqua Bank first down.
Costly mistake there on the defense.
That was an unfortunate one. This ball is in the first down markers now at the 42-yard line. It's the first time Shorewood has been across midfield with about 3 minutes left on the clock, looking to get up on the board. Player in motion again. Nakamura calls for it, hands it off. Nothing gained on the play.
Another great penetration by the Grizzlies defensive line. Really just getting in that backfield and disrupting things immediately, almost even before you can hand the ball to them.
And they're making it hard for the Shorewood's runners.
Looks like McCoy made the tackle on that play.
I'm seeing good tackling. That's making sure they wrap the player up in good form.
With 2:20 to go, looks like the band is out on the track, getting ready for their halftime performance. And
Okamura drops back, again scrambling, almost hits the referee, throws the ball down the field and out of bounds.
Impressive arm strength there by the quarterback to throw it almost, 20, 25 yards there just to get it back towards the receiver so they don't get the intentional grounding.
Yeah, he's had a rough night so far with the amount of pressure he's been under, but he's worked every play to keep the play alive and try to make something of it.
This Grizzly defense, they have a lot of speed coming in.
They do, and so that shows Okamura's speed himself, avoiding it as much as he has on those scrambles. Referee there on the last play almost got the tackle himself.
Okamura back for the snap again.
Waiting for it. Directing his players, drops back, throws the ball down the field, in and out of the hands of Ronnie Gary. Great job breaking up the play. I can see a number.
Timed perfectly by Wolhoff there.
That was great coverage. Broke it up from the pass. Would have been a first down there for Shorewood. And that is now 4th and 11. Going for it again.
No, they're going to punt.
Oh, sorry, there was a pole in the way. Couldn't quite see the punter.
This is the stadium of the pole in the way.
Ball bounces out of bounds on about the 22-yard line. And the Glacier Peak. Oh, flag on the field.
Just threw a flag.
We'll have to see what that was for. Ron, can you see what that flag was for?
Ronnie, what do you got?
Hang on just a minute. Got a penalty down here.
That's what we want to know.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess I shouldn't yell into the mic.
Ron's right there for the action. He's almost in the ref's huddle itself.
It seems like if I yell, he can hear me better.
12 men on the field for Glacier Peak. That's going to come back and a punt over.
Oh,
Costly penalty there.
there's going to be some burpees on Monday. If there's any penalty that Rowe or none of the coaches ever want to see, it's something dumb like 12 guys on the field.
That's a mental mistake there.
There's nothing coaches hate more than senseless penalties like that. But it
actually looks like it might have been good for a first down.
You know, it's still Glacier Peak on offense. We're trying to figure out exactly.
No.
It was a first down for the Thunderbirds.
So with that penalty, they maintained possession of the ball.
Get another. Yeah, we're trying to figure out exactly what the rules would be on that play to give them the first down. It was.
Must be a 10-yard penalty.
Unless it was it was either a 10-yard penalty or an automatic first down. We don't have the exact rule book in front of us, but either way, Shorewood maintains possession. Great field position.
That is two huge momentum plays for Shorewood.
Just under 2 minutes. Another play, another flag on the play. We'll see what this one is on.
Offsides.
Offsides on the defense. That's another big penalty for Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak giving up about 15 yards there just on penalties on the last two plays.
Overall in this drive, it seems like they've given up half the yards Shorewood's earned just on penalties.
It would be about 30 yards so far this drive. And that really starts to add up. As we mentioned, that was a big part of the game last week was penalties on Glacier Peak.
With under 2 minutes to go, the crowd trying to get behind their defense to see if they can keep them out of the end zone here. Let's see what happens.
Nakamura avoiding a tackle, keeping it himself, running forward, gets the ball about to the 20-yard line.
Somehow staying on his feet.
That was a heck of an effort by the quarterback fighting his way forward. He's been really impressive tonight, even with the amount of difficulty he's had. With the pressure that he's been under.
So clock's still moving. We're under 1:30 here to go. Let's see if Shorewood can get a little intensity and urgency in their offense to try to get some points on this board.
Nakamura getting ready to. He's got about 3 yards to go.
Airing it out.
Ball, looking for the end zone. There's a bit of a miscommunication between him and Ronnie Gary. He's turned around looking for a shorter pass, and the ball went over his head.
So 1:09 to play. Looks like we have a 3rd and 4.
It's a big third down here for Shorewood. Got to keep this drive alive and try to get themselves on the board before going into half.
The Action Jackson halftime.
The Action Jackson halftime. Shorewood lining up for their third down conversion. Or at least third down conversion attempt.
Nakamura back for the snap.
Gets the ball. Throwing it again to his right. Thrown short. Underthrowing his receiver. Almost diving attempt by Glacier Peak's defense.
That's 2 plays right in a row that just seems like it's miscommunication between the quarterback and his receivers.
And those are possibly mistakes for Shorewood, who had such a good opportunity to here. Offense looks like it might be staying on the field with 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock.
Fourth down and 4 to go. Let's see what happens.
Hear the crowd getting louder. Akamura on another 4th down attempt. Gets the ball. Looking. Throws to the center of the field. Ball bounces through. Incomplete. So even with the penalties and the big plays there, Shorewood's drive sputters and comes to an end. It's going to be a 1st down for Glacier Peak.
And with that, the Grizzlies will take it over on the 21-yard line with 1 minute and 2 seconds to go here in the first half.
You think they'll try to score before the half or just run out the clock?
I'd imagine they'd come out and just knee it and go into halftime with a 22-0 lead.
You guys don't know row.
I think that's it.
And we're getting some debate from here in the booth, and looks like they're gonna gun it out.
See
And
what happens, but I don't think
they know
there's time on the clock.
I don't see the V formation out there, so it looks like they still run their offense.
Good completion. Nice. Good
Well, it looks like it
catch.
came out, and it is incomplete.
It's unfortunate he had it. Just wasn't able to maintain possession.
Looked like he got hit right as he was about to pull it in and just lost control of the ball there.
I thought for sure he had it in his hand. That's why I was saying nice. It looked like a one-handed grab.
Was a great effort there. And it looks like Ziomas is still back at quarterback.
Throws the ball to his left, in and out of the hands of his receiver, bounces off of him.
Dexter just couldn't hold on to that one.
Bounced off his shoulder.
Sorry, that was Carter.
Is that Aiden as quarterback? Or?
It is Aiden. It's Ziomas, yeah.
See if he can mentally recover from that turnover last game.
And look, 3rd down, 10 yards to go, and only burned about 14 seconds off the clock since
Drops
they took
back,
over.
throwing to his right this time. Ball caught right on the 30. It's going to be short of the 1st down.
Looks like they're lining up quick.
They're hurrying up. They're trying to get a play called in. They're going for it.
Hurry up offense.
That's impressive. That's showing confidence in the players. Dexter bouncing off, running to his right. He's going to get enough, got a full head of steam, and fights his way as he goes out of bounds. That was going to be enough for another Umpqua Bank 1st down. That was a heck of a run there by Dexter.
An injured Shorewood player down here.
Got an injured Shorewood player on the field.
Dexter went right over top of Cho there.
Got the training staff coming out to
take a little look.
Give him a look. I'm going to hope he's all right.
Hey, Ron, did you catch the number of the player who's injured?
I'll get it for you in a minute. He's laying down there right now.
Well, we'll take this opportunity to step away for just a second.
'23.
23, who is that?
It's number 23, Devin Diaz for Shorewood. And we're back as the players get back on the field. The injured player who was down was number 23, Devin Diaz, who looked like he was able to get up and was all right.
Going to air it out.
Threw the ball as he was hit.
Nice camera work there.
Almost making a catch. Wasn't able to quite come down with it, just a little bit too far outside of his fingertips.
Nice effort there by Guffey.
You can see why he can make those plays that he did last week with that athleticism. It was a good long extension on his dive.
Looks like the freshman's ready for the snap again.
It's handed off. Dexter bouncing off, fighting, scrambling, staying on his feet somehow, dodging players, never goes down, but the play is called dead.
Why is that?
We're not sure why. It looked like he was still moving forward, but the referee called it down. 12 seconds on the clock as the last part of the first half winds down.
So we got a Glacier Peak timeout down here on the field with that 12-second clock sitting up there. Coach Roy wants to make a touchdown on this next play, so let's see if he plays that long ball to Justin Guffey.
Hey, Ron, do you know why they stopped that play the last time? Nope, Ron's gone.
So it looks like we have Fred's Rivertown Ale House timeout here.
Trying to get information on that last play. Ron's prediction was that we're going to have a long, deep ball here going for the end zone. So the clock was stopped due to the timeout.
Got 12 seconds to go here in the first half.
Showing confidence in the young freshman going to the play. Dexter catching the ball across the midfield, tiptoeing the line as he goes out at about just short of the 40. That's an Umpqua Bank first down and a great completion and run by Dexter.
So that's actually Aubrey Carter there with the catch. Dexter Carter. I'm sorry.
Dexter Carter.
Trying to fool our viewers here.
Another timeout. Another Fred Riverton Alehouse timeout as Glacier Peak continues to move the ball down the field, looking to really put a stamp on what has been a dominant first half for them.
So with 6 seconds to go here, it really seems like they're going to try to air it out again and try to get some more points on the board before going into half and really put Shorewood on the bad end of this halftime.
It does seem to be the mentality so far, is to go for it on every play. It's impressive with the Glacier Peak showing such faith in a freshman in Ziomas playing.
Got that inside information in here saying that they might go for some trickery right now.
It looks like he drops back, steps up and throws. Caught by number 21.
And it's the hook and ladder. And that was the hook and ladder.
And that's Carter getting the ball, running to the end zone. Called by our man up in the box.
What a trickery.
Replay rub. That is a McDaniels do-it-yourself center touchdown to end the first half. Glacier Peak with a big exclamation mark.
And that was a throw to Guffey, and then that hook and ladder back to Carter, and he just took it right into the end zone.
That was a great little pitch.
Outstanding.
Lining up for the PAT to make the game 29-0.
That inside information paid off, didn't it?
Really did. It's good to have these guys up here who know this team, these players. Kick is up and good. We're going to go into our Action Jackson halftime with the score. Glacier Peak Grizzlies 28. Shoreline's Thunderbirds 0.
79-yard drive. Tell Shannon to be careful because 40 seconds.
And that's a 79-yard drive.
I'm down here with Coach. All right, hang on.
I like to be on this side. It's my good side.
That's your good side?
Yeah.
All right, down here with Coach Rowe. Coach, you got a lot of points on the board there this half.
We did all right. I mean, that was good that we got that last. That was a heck of a play. It was a good timeout right there, wasn't it? That was a good play call.
That's a great timeout.
No, that was the fellas making a play. That's what they were doing.
Well, you wanted that touchdown. I know that.
Yeah, I felt like we played a really good first quarter. Then I think we got really sloppy in the second quarter, that second half of the second quarter, and wasn't very happy with how we had played. So that takes the sting off a little bit, but we certainly have some things to clean up in the second half.
A little pitch by Justin there. Was that like an impromptu thing?
All Justin and Dex.
That's all Justin Guffey.
Yep.
Look forward to another great half next half, and we'll see what prices you come out with.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Coach Rowe, Ron Enthorn down here. Back to you guys. We'll see you at the start of the second half.
Thanks, Ron.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome back from the Action Jackson halftime. Glacier Peak band lining up to welcome their players back onto the field.
Got a heck of a performance by their band there.
It really was. I'm wondering why you, with your little Edmonds Woodway band spirit, weren't that good.
Hey, this was years ago. No reason to bring up the past there, Phil. Sensitive subject.
Glacier Peak with a pretty impressive banner. A couple early players coming out avoiding it.
Must be the kickers.
We had a chance up here in the booth to start talking about that first half, and what was your impression of it so far, Garrett?
You know, that was quite a first half. Glacier Peak really just kept pushing, kept fighting, and the scoreline reflects it. Shorewood really never got their offense going 100%. Their biggest drive, half of it was on penalties, so let's look for them to come out really firing and trying some big plays here, but Glacier Peak's in control of this game. What do you think?
Yes. I think you're exactly right, especially with that end of the half performance there, going 70 yards in 40 seconds, throwing in their own zone, their own red zone. The player coming back out and showing confidence in him to get it done. And we were also talking about early leaders for the Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game. I think
I'd like to debate here and just act like we came up with something really clever, but I think it's pretty obvious who the front runner for the player of the game is.
Looking at Dexter Carter with his over 100 total all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. Glacier Peak returning to the field. Band welcoming him out. Just waiting on the Thunderbirds to come on out. Referees making their way out of the tunnel. As a reminder, and for those of you just joining us, the scoreline is currently Glacier Peak 29, Shorewood sitting at 0.
So I think our sideline reporter, Ron, Edmonds Community College, is going to try to snag the coach coming out for the second half, see if he can snag him. But as we wait, Phil, let's talk about the strategy here by both teams. What do you think? What do you think Glacier Peak's going to do? What do you think they're going to come out looking like?
Honestly, I think Glacier Peak is going to keep doing what they've been doing. The run game's been working. It's going to keep eating up the clock as they already have the lead, and it's been, as we mentioned, with Dexter Carter running the ball, so successful for them that I don't see any reason why they would change it. I think the biggest changes are going to come from Shorewood, who will maybe try to get the ball down the field faster, as we've seen so far Aaron Okamura being under pressure so much.
So it looks like we got Ron ready on the sideline. Go ahead, Ron.
All right, Ron Henthorn down there on the sideline with Coach Steve Hannon. No score by the other team on the first half.
Yeah, we like that as defensive coaches. We're pretty satisfied with that so far.
You like that?
Yeah, we got a whole half to play, but yeah, we kind of like that.
So right toward the last couple of minutes there's kind of a little bit of a letdown. What do you think of that?
Oh, they made an adjustment to a play where they full blocked, the guard kicked out, and the tackle came underneath with the wing back also. So they're getting some yards in there. So we had to go pinch with our defensive ends and tackles to clear up that gap. But yeah, no, it was a good adjustment from them. It made us make an adjustment.
So you got that adjustment in the second half. Anything else you're going to change up?
Well, we just want to watch Justin Guffey pitch some more balls. That's all.
Just get the ball to Justin, right?
Get it to Justin, we'll be all right.
Well, all right. Let's look for a good defensive second half here, Steve.
Let's do it.
All right, back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Ron, with that Edmonds Community College sideline report. As you can hear there was a bit of tactical shift for Shorewood on that last drive where they found a little bit of success, although most of the yards gained on that drive, or at least 30 of them, were given to them by Glacier Peak's penalties, which is something that as we were going into halftime, we had the interview with the coach and talking about how that was a disappointing aspect of their game so far. It's when they're going to look to clean up.
Got the drum line going full steam down here in front of the fans. Trying to get them pumped up and ready for this second half. I can't help but dance myself. Jeez.
Please don't. It embarrasses all of us.
That's why we're on mics, not on video. So So we talked about what Glacier Peak's going to come out and do. Shorewood is going to come out and do. Do you think they're going to be airing it out more? You think they'll run it more? How do you think that offensive line is going to keep the defensive line of Glacier Peak out of their backfield? Because that's really been one of the huge differences in this game.
Yeah, the battle in the trenches has been big. Glacier Peak's defensive line and linebackers have been in the backfield every single play, it seems like. For Shorewood, Akamura, unfortunately for him, has been under pressure every single play, and it felt like he's really tried to make something out of nothing every time, and has done, I think, in my opinion, a real good job scrambling and getting at least a pass down the field. He was unlucky a couple of times to have passes dropped by his receivers, but I think going forward, due to that pressure from the Glacier Peaks line, that Shorewood should look to try to get the ball out faster instead of doing as many behind the line little laterals and shovel passes, and try to get the ball down the field as can. They've been having some good looks at Ronnie Gary specifically, and I think that really their best strategy will be to keep trying to get it to him down the field and try to open up a big play and get some quick scores and get themselves back in this game.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, they really need to give their quarterback just enough time to set his feet. He really didn't get a chance to set his feet in the first half. He immediately, as he turns to get his feet planted, the defense is right in his face already. So maybe whether that's adding an extra lineman there, trying to get just an extra couple seconds for him to find a receiver, or yet again not throwing it in the backfield, but at least getting it up the line, out for a little screen or something like that to get some offense going, to make this more of a competitive game score-wise, because a 29-0 lead is almost insurmountable.
Yeah, so my prediction is that we're going to, quick prediction for the second half, is that we're going to see another couple touchdowns, but it's going to still be, as we've seen so far, more of a Glacier Peak game. What about you, Garrett?
I think so too. I mean, our first half predictions were quite off, let's say, at this point.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I don't know how much authority we have at making more predictions, but let's just go ahead and say that Glacier Peak's probably going to put up another couple touchdowns. I think Shorewood will claw back into this game a little bit, but I think it's almost unreachable at this point. That hook and ladder play to end the first half was really a huge momentum push for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, and I think they're just going to keep putting the pedal to the metal, and let's see what happens here as we come out of our Action Jackson halftime report.
Glacier Peak lined up. Jason Swim getting ready to kick it. And returning the ball up the middle, back out to about the 20-yard line. He kept fighting, got a few more yards, got out to about the 24.
And with that, we're underway in the second half.
It's going to be a big test to see what the mental state of Shorewood is with the second half, into the second half, first half. They're going so strongly against them, where they were really having their first opportunity to score and got lucky on a couple of penalties from Glacier Peak that kept their drive going, but ended up watching the Glacier Peak offense march down the field and score on them instead. It's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
Let's see if Akamura can really start the second half off strong.
Got the ball a little more time, threw it, got it wide, bobbled, and again, another drop from his receiver that was in and out of the hands of Matthew Nagy. He had a good opportunity and got it right to him.
But senior just couldn't hold on there.
It's another unfortunate play for Shorewood. It was a chance to come out and get a good start to this second half and get some momentum built up early.
Just that first play alone, though, was good to see him just get a couple extra seconds of time. Quick little pass, gain that yard, but unfortunately the receiver couldn't hold on. Let's see if they can go back to him or see if they do a little running play here.
Snap Akamura hands the ball off, gets a few yards on the play.
Looked like that was Aki with the run.
I think that might be another key to Shorewood, is Aki getting a run game started for most of
them. We have another Shorewood Thunderbird down.
Can't see who that is.
Looks like one of the linemen.
That could be a costly penalty for them with the difficulties already being had by the line. Looks like they're stretching out his leg.
Hopefully it's just a cramp or a Charlie horse here, nothing too serious. It is a warm night here.
That's very true. And it's deceptively warm. It really doesn't feel like it, and then all of a sudden you realize you're sweating, and
it's just all the excitement, Phil. It's exciting. So the sweat, can't necessarily say that everyone else is sweating, but up here in the booth, we're just jumping up and down and running around in circles, just causing our own sweat.
Players up. It looks like that is number 59, Andrew Blair. He's up and walking to the sideline. It looks like he's all right. Limping a little bit on that left leg, but look to see him return a little later in the game.
And we got a 3rd down and 7 to go. Pretty long 3rd down here. Let's see if they can convert.
Same formation we've seen the last couple of plays. Akamura with Aki in the backfield.
Look like the DBs are getting them some space. Look like they're willing to give the under, but nothing over the top.
Akamura with a quick throw out to the side. He makes a move, running, gets across the 40-yard line. Finally tackled and brought down to 45 for an Umpqua Bank first down. That was Ronnie Gary, and as we mentioned, he's been sort of the favorite target so far.
And that's probably their longest play from scrimmage of the game. 13-yard gain by Gary there, and he's really been like their only offense for the Thunderbirds tonight.
He's been their best option so far as a receiver. He's gotten the defense beat. We're getting some gestures from our producer.
Fumble.
Ball loose.
Looks like Shorewood fell back on the ball.
Shorewood got up and lost about 5 yards, or about 3 yards on the play.
Have no problem with our on-field camera.
It's now 2nd and long after that.
They can't. Oh.
After that fumble for Shorewood, which they recovered. That could have been a costly mistake for them after finally getting a positive play.
2nd down and long here. Akamura back to take the snap. Single back in the backfield. And here's the hike.
Snap drops back. He's got more time this time. Steps forward before being wrapped up by Glacier. Ball comes loose again. Covered up by Shorewood's Thunderbirds again. But
he might have been down before that ball slipped out. Let's see what they roll it as.
They're marking it down back there. That was about an 8-yard loss. That's almost 13 yards lost on those 2 fumbles, which negates the forward pass that they just had.
And now it is 3rd and 22.
Not the start that Shorewood wanted. They finally had the opportunity to get some momentum going their way, and a couple of loose balls killing that momentum. Let's see what Akamura is able to do here.
Let's see if they get a good chunk of this back and make their punter in a little bit better situation.
USA chant by the crowd. Thrown wide to Matthew Nagy again, who this time comes down with it for a short gain, not nearly enough for the first down. So we will see the punting team come out.
Nice USA cheer on September 11th here.
Yeah, it was
nice little tribute by the fans.
That's a good crowd out here tonight. Student section is lively. A little surprised that they're not going for the 4th down. It seems to have been their strategy so far in this game.
Looks like they might have learned their lesson the previous 2 4th downs they went for. Good penetration there by the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies let it bounce, and it is down by the Thunderbirds up the 39-yard line, which is where the Glacier Peak will take over. So what are you expecting the first play of the second half for the Grizzlies to be?
You know, just like when we were talking about whether they're going to run it out the first half or not, and they'll wait for it all, I think they're going to go for it all here, and they're going to come out firing. Maybe a first run play by Dexter, or, they might even air it out and go back towards Guffey maybe, or he hasn't really been too much of an impact tonight.
It's a bit of a wishy-washy answer there, Garrett.
I'm just covering all my bases. My predictions haven't been spot on so far, so if I say all the things, I think we'll be covered.
In a way, I guess you're always right and you're always wrong.
So Glacier Peak is staying with Aiden, the freshman, out there at quarterback, and he's dropping back to pass and running. Looks like they're going to give him more game time right now and save Devin Rainbow for a big game next week.
That was our sideline reporter, Ron, brought to you by Edmonds Community College. So it does look like they are sticking with Aiden Zilmas, which is a interesting call with saving Rainbow for another time. Zilmas throws it wide. Ball caught and brought out to the 50. He jumps over a tackler, shakes another one, makes a man miss. He's down to the 30, the 20, the 10. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Glacier Peak. That was a tremendous play by Isaac Whitaker. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was bunt.
Bunt. 60-yard completion, making players miss left and right. That is another McDaniels Do-It Center touchdown for Glacier Peak.
Another huge play by the Grizzlies, and bunt with that 60-yard run, just making tacklers miss, running over a couple tackles. It's like the defense wasn't even out there.
That was an amazing play. I don't remember, was bunt one of your predictions?
No.
I don't think it was. I think you were still wrong.
He was not one of my predictions.
The kick is good, bringing the score to 36, Glacier Peak.
That's the second touchdown of the night for bunt.
He's also having a big night, injecting himself into the adrenaline fundraising player of the game conversation with a play like that.
You know, he might just be able to take it away from Dexter here, but we'll see. I'm guessing Dexter's still got a lot more in the tank, and we'll see what he can come out and do on their next offensive possession.
Yeah. It was 2 plays for 66 yards for Glacier Peak. It's an impressive statement coming out of halftime.
And at this point, Shorewood's just got to be thinking, what do we do now? We've tried a little bit of everything, and how can we get back in this game or come out with some learning lessons for their next game?
Yeah, at this point, they're just looking to get something to build off of for next week. And a long season ahead of them and still time to turn it around. It's only the second game of the season. There's the whistle and the kick. Dropping back and catching it for Shorewood. Running it to the sideline. Fighting through. We've already got a tackle at about the 26 is number 88. We don't have a number for a player with that number. Good return and good starting field position here for the Thunderbirds.
All right, guys, I just had a short conversation with Devin Rainbow down here on the sidelines, quarterback for Glacier Peak. He says with that last touchdown, he's done for the night. They got so many points on the board, they're just going to save him. So we're going to see Aiden's almost out there for the rest of the night, I think. So back to you guys.
From our Edmonds Community College reporter, Ron, thank you so much for that insightful information. Looks like Rainbow will be done for the game, and it'll be up to Ziomas to finish this out.
Aki getting the ball there, getting a few yards on the play. Glacier Peak cheerleaders getting the crowd fired up. Not a cheer I've ever seen before, was not bad. Shorewood lining up. Got a 2nd and 7 here. Try to make that 2nd and 8. Hakamura takes the snap, hands it off. Able to fight for a few yards, bring the ball across the 30. That was Justin Cho with the ball. One of the things that I'm noticing is that they're...
Uh-oh, he's a little slow to get up here.
So that could be another costly injury for Shorewood.
Injury timeout, that's Justin Cho down there. I think he got the wind knocked out of him. He's just going to take a little rest here on the 31-yard line.
Gonna hope that he is all right. That would be a big blow for Shorewood. Justin Cho playing a big role so far for them on both sides of the ball. One of the things I wanted to point out about Shorewood's offense is the amount of motion they have their players do, especially Isaac Whitaker, number 24, running both ways before most plays.
Yeah, he's been in motion almost every play so far, and they haven't really gone his way. But one of these times, I think they're gonna go jump in and throw him a little lateral, or see him on the outside there for a little out route. We'll see what happens.
It'll be good to see them try to get him the ball.
Yeah, it looks like Justin just had a calf or ankle cramp there, so going to work that muscle cramp out and get up and walk off the field here to a nice applause from his teammates and the fans.
And so another sideline report by Ron, our community college sideline reporter. And good spirit shown by the Glacier Peak crowd cheering for the players. For Justin Cho as he was able to get up. It's the second cramp we've seen so far in this half already. It's the
one night really taking its toll.
Yeah, we can see that, and hopefully that'll not continue too much more as the game goes on. We don't want to see anybody else go down. Nakamura returning under center. He's got 2 men in the backfield this time. A little bit of a different formation than we've seen so far.
No one in motion.
Back throws the ball down the field, caught by Gary as he
even drops the ball.
Drops the ball, recovers it, shakes off a few more defenders, and gets tackled finally down across the 40-yard line, about the 42, for an Umpqua Bank first down for Shorewood. That was great play by Gary, fighting through and the focus even after he lost the ball.
Was it just me, or did he seem very casual in picking that ball back up again?
Well, you've got to stay calm. You don't want to panic in those situations, and he did what he had to do.
Lost the handle on that, took a second, picked the ball back up, and then kept running.
Movement along the line of Glacier Peak. Nakamura talking to his running backs. In 2 in the backfield, no one in motion. And the snap, hands it off. Crossing through the line, getting close to the first down. The 50 is Isaac Whitaker. Just short of the first down. About a yard short, so it'll be, or 2 yards short, it'll be 2nd and 2. It's a better couple of plays there by Shorewood. Nakamura getting time to get the ball out to his receivers, who are returning the favor by completing the passes.
Nakamura back with the snap.
Player in motion, laterals it out to him. That is, again, as we were saying, Whitaker getting the ball as we predicted, and he is able to find his way across to get about a 6-yard pickup for an Umpqua Bank first down.
Looks like they're finally taking advantage of that motion play there.
Yeah, we were wondering when they were going to start doing that, and then they do, which is...
And it worked.
Nice to see one of our predictions finally come true.
Look at that. 1 for like 35?
Something like that. It's their second first down so far of this drive.
We're setting the bar low for future weeks. We can really get these predictions up higher going forward.
You don't want to come in and set the bar too high. Have people expect you to know what's going to happen.
Shorewood's got a nice drive working here. They're eating a lot of time off the clock, though.
Back to the single man in the backfield.
Out to Whitaker again.
Out to Whitaker. Whitaker really starting to assert himself as he crosses for the first down again.
Huge rushing play by Whitaker. Almost a 12-yard gain there.
Whitaker listed as a running back, and so you're starting to see him get those plays. He's not getting the direct handoffs, but he's starting to assert himself as he forces himself through. Let's look to see Shorewood keep handing it off to him. Seems like they finally found something that works for him. They keep to building on this, what looks like their most successful drive so far. Ball snapped to Nakamura. Quick handoff. Doesn't have anywhere to go. Bounced off the line is Aki as he finally gets dragged down.
Looks like he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Actually gained a couple there on the play.
Another good spot for Shorewood. Aki getting hit early.
You almost wonder where this was the first half for the Thunderbirds. They seem to be really just playing a well thought out offensive game right now, and that Whitaker seems to be the difference here.
He does. He seems to be finally asserting himself, and as we heard before the game, the preference for Shorewood to run the ball. He's trying to show why that is. There's Nakamura with Aki in the backfield again. Hands it off to Aki. Aki having room to run down the middle. Goes past a couple of tacklers, but is stopped short of the first down at the 25.
Solid 8-yard pickup there.
And this is really where they're having trouble in the first half, with getting themselves into situations like this with third and manageable, third and short. They kept getting themselves behind the first couple plays and then having to go for the longer ones and not being able to convert on them.
I like the look of their offense now.
Yeah, this is more what I was expecting at the beginning of the game, so it's good to see them at least get some positive plays.
Maybe if they would have played like this, our prediction might have been a little bit closer.
Might be. Still time. Whitaker with the ball again, makes a good move, makes a couple players miss, and is fighting his way forward. 6 Glacier Peak players finally in on the tackle.
Looked to have been stopped in the backfield there for a second, and then somehow just made a couple men miss and snuck it right through the middle.
He kept his legs moving, kept his shoulders low, and he got that Umpqua Bank first down. So another 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Glacier Peak fans getting loud to cheer on their defense to get a stop here. It's only 2 minutes left in the third, so it's been a very long drive here from Shorewood.
Eating up a lot of the clock here.
Aki fighting his way forward, pushing through a little bit, got a few yards down to the 17. We'll have a 2nd and 7. I'd expect to see a little bit more urgency out of Shorewood here. With only a minute and 40 left in this quarter, they're going to have to start making some faster plays if they're going to try to get themselves back into this.
They've really kept it on the ground here, and it's really just affecting them with the clock. I mean, they've gotten some solid runs, but if they were trying to claw their way back in this game, it's not going to happen just on the ground.
Naki doing a good job pushing the pile forward. I mean, you're right that they are going to need to at some point start looking to the air again, but their only success is coming on the ground, so they're caught in a bit of a catch-22, where if they run the ball is where they're finding success, but it's also hurting them when it's running out of time.
Yeah, it looks like Shorewood's been running the ball for about the last 8 minutes, guys. It's kind of like a boring running game going on down here, but they're sure eating up the clock. So I don't think they want GP to get the ball back because they don't want them to score again. Let's see what they do in the last 40 seconds here.
I mean, take a look at GP's last drive of 2 plays, 66 yards. I mean, it's hard not to want to keep the ball away from that offense.
Crucial 3rd down here, though, for Shorewood as Okamura keeps it. Intercepted! He's returning it. I don't think they're going to catch him.
Okamura is the only one who can stop him.
50. Okamura chasing him, but he's not going to get to him. He's at the 10, and he's in for a touchdown. Glacier Peak touchdown on the first throwing play of the drive.
And that's a McDaniels Do It Center touchdown. And look at that. As soon as we suggested they throw the ball, pick 6.
I think that was Justin, right?
That was
about that, guys. I just said they didn't want GP to get the ball back, and they gave it to him on an interception. So they're going to get it right back again themselves.
You know, you try to keep it out of that higher-powered offense, but I guess their defense is just high-powered as well.
And running down on the field, could you see who got the interception?
And the extra point is good, making the score 42-0. Sorry, 43-0.
Trying to get a confirmation on the number of the player who had the interception. That was Ethan Smith with a huge interception, running the ball back.
That was almost a 90-yard touchdown return.
90-yard return, and was one of the first real poor decisions made by Okamura. Throwing that ball,
it looked like the defensive back almost just took it out of the receiver's hands and just was like, nope, this one's mine, and just ran it back to the house.
Big play, and that really puts the game out of reach, I think, now for Shorewood. 15 seconds left in the quarter.
I almost thought Okamura was going to catch up to him there. He looked like he had some some wheels on him, but just couldn't catch up to Ethan there.
Kick coming down. Shorewood just going to let it bounce into the end zone. Almost rolling out to down them on the 1, but it rolled into the end zone, so it will be a touchback. Shorewood will take over at their 20.
Looked like Shorewood was going for the hope that the penalty might come into play and be able to be set up with good field position going forward on this drive.
All right, guys, check your roster up there. I think you're going to see most of the starters on the sidelines now. A lot of clean white pants out there on the field. Some new numbers you haven't seen yet, so check your roster and see who's out there.
Yeah, so as we heard from Ron, our sideline report, brought to you by Edmonds Community College, we have a lot of the backup and JV players in for Glacier Peak.
And Whitaker with the ball.
We got the ball and hurdles over a player, falls himself around, gets himself up to about the 23.
It looks like that's the end of the third quarter.
So that wasn't quite the way we expected that third quarter to go. Glacier Peak getting the ball, getting a quick touchdown on offense, and then a huge interception, pick 6, putting themselves up by another 14 points. We're going to go to commercial now.
And we'll be right back.
Clog drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601.
And we're back.
And talking about all the starters being out of the game for the most part for the Grizzlies, can't help but think about the next 3 games coming up. So they got an away game at Linwood, away game at Meadowdale, and then a huge game coming, home game you'll actually be able to catch here on STSPN against Bellevue. That's actually going to be a homecoming game about 3 weeks from now, and we can't tell you how excited we are for that game and how big it is, how big it's going to be for the season.
That'll be a great one.
And then on the opposite side, you got Shorewood. Shorewood's got Mount Lake Terrace at home, Shorecrest away, which is a huge rivalry game for them, and then Meadowdale at home following that. So tough 3 games coming for both teams, but you can't just help keep Bellevue on the horizon for the Grizzlies. It's a huge powerhouse in Bellevue. Been known over the last few years of just being a almost national power in the high school game, and coming here to Veterans Memorial Stadium and see if we can get an upset in 3 weeks' time.
It'll be certainly be a fun one to watch or cover, depending on how that goes. Shorewood back on offense here. They're already up to a 3rd down, 3rd and 4. Alkamara drops it back and throws it to Gary. Gary catches it, makes a couple of players miss before being wrapped up and brought down at the 35 for an Umpqua Bank 1st down.
A lot of ball security is going to be huge here.
So you guys got to start thinking about player of the game. I think it's going to be a tough one tonight because they've kind of moved it around quite a bit. But I don't know, Dexter seems to be right up there.
Yeah, we were earlier. We were talking about how we were pretty sure that was going to be Dexter Carter, but then we saw a couple of big plays from some other players. Blunt with 2 touchdowns himself.
Yeah, we got Bunt with 2 touchdowns, Dexter with 2 touchdowns, and Ian Black with the other. So tough battle between the 2.
Ball tipped, interception, Glacier Peak. That was number 67 with the interception. That's Nick Pennell.
Another huge play on difference.
Pennell. Having my pronunciation corrected.
That's all right. We know most of the players. We've been doing them for years.
Yeah, that helps a lot. It's my first night.
Coming up here on STSPN this coming week, we have several girls' sports. We'll be having some soccer and some volleyball. But football next Friday is going to be Monroe versus Snohomish here. We will simulcast that one with KRKO. And then the following week, it'll be Lake Stevens in Snohomish, and we'll be inviting you gentlemen back to do that game.
Glad you'll have us back. Thank you so much.
Glad to know that we're not doing a terrible, terrible job.
Take a look at your quarterback, guys. Number 17, Jason Swell.
That's Jason Swell now on the field as the third quarterback we've seen for Glacier Peak. So he's a sophomore, getting his first play of the game.
Looks like Billy Lutali.
Hey, listen, Ron, that's Jackson Schwim. Come on now.
Right, Jackson, not Jason. Small print, guys. I can't read it.
That's okay, Ron. You're joining the team. We've all been mispronouncing things all night, so it was your turn this time.
Schwim lining up with the ball, waiting for his second snap. Hands it off. Fighting his way forward is number 11, Billy Lutali. Who was tackled by number 5, Riley Teeters for Shorewood.
Hey Ron, how you doing down there? Who do you think would be your adrenaline fundraising player of the game as we get 8.5 minutes to go and all the stars are sitting out? What are you thinking?
No trouble hearing as to get into Piers. Snap to Schwim, hands it, keeps it himself, runs to the right. He's finding daylight, get a shoulder tackle, rolls down to about this 8-yard line, 7 or 8 yard line. It's an Umpqua Bank first down and a good run from the sophomore quarterback.
Quarterback showing some toughness there, getting down there and taking that hit.
I think what it's really showing us is how deep Glacier Peak really is. I think this is a great opportunity for some of the younger players to be able to develop their skills along with the seniors.
Ron, did you say you had your prediction ready?
Yeah, I think I would go with Dexter Carter. He's got a big first half, and they've kind of slowed things down the second half and haven't really needed him, but Glacier Peak's almost going to score again here. We're going to have a 50-point game here with the second string in there. I think Dexter earned it on his hard play in the first half, running in the ball, probably got over 100 yards, and was right in the right spot for Justin Guffey to lateral that touchdown to him. So a great game for him tonight. He ought to be a happy young man.
And Logan Weaver with that catch. And thanks, Ron, for your input. I definitely think that lateral by Guffey was a huge momentum and almost the dagger in the coffin there to go on to halftime. So we'll definitely take your input, and let's see what happens the rest of the game and see what we come up with.
Second and goal from the 3-yard line. Ball ran in for another McDaniels Do-It Center touchdown for Glacier Peak.
And that looks like it was Billy Latali with the touchdown.
Showing that he can also be an effective runner for Glacier Peak. This game's become an absolute blowout here. We're getting a lot of excitement up here in the box as they go for the extra points.
And it is good!
50 points now for Glacier Peak, 50-0. Half-century lead now for Glacier Peak.
And with that, we got the cheerleaders doing their push-ups. They're gonna sleep well tonight.
Yeah, if somebody wants to actually do the math and figure out the total number that they didn't do 50 there. That was, hey.
I think that was 5.
Yeah, they copped themselves out. That was, I wanted to see the full 50.
So with 6 minutes, 47 seconds to go, we got Grizzlies up 50-0 on the Thunderbirds. So what do you think Shorewood's plan is here? Do you give it to some younger kids to get some reps in the game against the second string defense, or do you have your starters go out and risk an injury and see what happens?
I don't know what my prediction would be necessarily, but I know personally I would want to at least get myself on the board. So I would play for that. Play until the whistle blows. And we'll see what they do here as Glacier Peak lines up to kick it. As Ramsey's getting ready to kick the ball. High kick, caught by Aki at about the 15-yard line with a good return, fighting his way out near the 30-yard line.
It's a nice little return there. Give the team decent field position. Let's see if they can come out and finally get some points on this board.
They've been knocking on the door a couple of times, but had a costly interception the last drive, and in the first half got down close, but lost it on a 4th down conversion attempt. As for the Adrenaline Fundraiser Player of the Game, my personal vote is also for Dexter Carter. I felt that he really set the tone for Glacier Peak in that first half. You see a couple tricky plays here from Shorewood, doesn't get them much.
You know, I can't help but think that that's my pick too, but I don't know. The bunt really made a play there towards the to come out here in the second half and get that touchdown and putting 2 on the board. I mean, same amount as Dexter Carter, but it's tough to say.
And it's going to be a close one, and anyone at home, let us know what you think.
Well, we have several people that are emailing in and saying that Dexter Carter, couple for Colton.
I think those are the 2 best options.
Akamura
aired out, caught on the 40-yard line, and he's going to make it all the way for the first McDaniels do-it center touchdown for Shorewood, getting themselves on the board. And that looked like Ronnie Gary with the reception, their biggest weapon of the game.
And a huge touchdown for them to really take something away from this game and not get shut out here by the Grizzlies.
A little over 5 minutes left. That was a great play. Long throw made by Akamura. Finally connected on one of them, and it results in a touchdown.
Really fight to the last whistle there, right?
Yeah, and this game felt like early on there was a couple of those that if Shorewood had been able to complete them, could have gotten themselves a couple points earlier as they line up for their first PAT. And it's up. Looks like it was good. Got themselves 7 points. Score is now 50-7.
So, Phil, after tallying the votes from home and kind of getting the input from everyone here in the booth, I think we have a decision on who we're thinking for the Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game. I think, Ron, you have to track him down, but I think we're going to go with, would you like to say it, Phil?
I think we're doing Dexter Carter. It's hard to argue with that first half performance.
Can't help but go back to that last play of the first half, that trick play, and from Guffey to Carter, you can't be in a better position to get that lateral and just take it to the house. So, huge play, and he earned it tonight.
Absolutely. So, congratulations to Dexter Carter, our Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game.
I'd like to remind everybody that this game was presented by... Yes.
As we have 5 minutes left on the clock, just a reminder that this game is presented by Gilpin Realty. Gilpin Realty bringing you tonight's game, which has been so far up into that last drive, all Glacier Peak. Shorewood finally getting themselves something on the board.
Looks like we have Whitaker taking the kick for Shorewood.
Long kick as it comes down, bobbled on the catch, but he recovers it and running it back. And a good recovery. He's at the 35-yard line, taken out of bounds at about the 40 with a great return after the initial muff. That looked like that was number 20.
And then a huge tackle by Kyle Grenfell by the Thunderbirds to prevent that from taking it all the way to the house.
That really was a good tackle and a good open field tackle and making sure that he was able to wrap him up and not let him get any additional yards.
After bobbling the with the bobbing the ball there, he almost was pinned back deep in his territory and really made something out of nothing there.
It's very true. And the clock is ticking down as we get nearer to the end of this game.
We got a little I Believe throwback to the USA men's team going in on the crowd right now.
I think the I Believe that we will win is a safe assumption for the Glacier Peak fans here.
I believe that prediction is going to be spot on.
I think so, as Schwim runs the ball out to about the first down.
It looks like he's going to give it to him.
He got it, so that is an Umpqua Bank first down, and Glacier Peak showing no signs of letting up here at the end of the game.
Looks like they're going to keep pounding the ball and really give the sophomore quarterback some more reps back there.
It's impressive to see as Todd was mentioning earlier, the depth at quarterback for Glacier Peak, with all 3 quarterbacks coming and performing well.
Not only at quarterback, but just the depth of the entire team. I mean, you see the different running backs, you see the different receivers. They're all making a huge impact on this game, even here late in the game. It's good to see, and it shows that this team's going to be a contender for years to come.
And that was another good run there from Billy Lutali, getting the ball out to the 46. 2nd and 6 here. Schwim takes the snap.
Keeps it himself.
Running to the right.
Got a big old hole.
Opening. He's going to go. He's got on the 10.
He's got the legs.
And it is another McDaniels Do-It Center touchdown for Glacier Peak. Jackson Schwim keeping the ball himself, running to the right and just beating defenders as he ran to the end zone, bringing the score up to 56 points. It's one of the highest scoring games I've ever been at.
What a run. A quarterback keeper around the edge. He saw the opening and he just took it to the house.
He's a sophomore. The great run there. The extra point coming up.
And with that, it is 57-7. Can't say I would have ever called this game such a high-scoring game.
I wouldn't have either. And Glacier Peak regains their 50-point lead with just under 3 minutes left on the clock.
Now, don't forget to stick with us here, folks. We're going to have an interview, post-game interview with our Adrenaline fundraising player of the game, Dexter Carter. So don't just go and leave us just yet.
I just had a short conversation with the coaches down here, guys. They didn't really want to run up the score like that. They were just kind of running plays to run out the clock. But what are you going to do when your third-string cornerback goes out around the sideline and there's nobody there to tackle him? He's not going to stop running. He's going to go all the way, and he did. 57-7, Glacier Peak.
You know, that's a great point there, Ron. I mean, he's not just going to sit down and stop running. He might as well just take it in and put some more points on the board for this team. He earned it.
And this also sounds like there is quarterback competition for Glacier Peak for the depth on the roster there. And so showing the coaches what he can do himself. We've got a bit of a lateral and a couple passes going for Shorewood as they return.
And they cannot bring him down.
Pushing it forward, showing great determination, maybe taking out a little bit of frustration at the way this game has gone.
Yeah, not only do they have competition at who their starting quarterback is, it looks like that they got some competition now for their backup as well. That's great to see, and not a bad thing to have 3 quarterbacks can lead your team to victory.
Not at all. And there's been good quarterback play on both sides of this game so far. There's been a couple interceptions in the game, one for each team. We mentioned earlier how Aaron Akamura has been under pressure all night, and outside of that one lapse of judgment where he threw that interception, has looked pretty good, getting the ball down the field and at least giving Ronnie Gary attempts to make plays. They go with a run here, fighting forward and falling down and getting about 3 yards.
Ronnie Gary really has been the foundation of their offense tonight, and huge props to that kid and how he played tonight. And it was a tough environment to play in. The home crowd was really feeling it here on Red, White, and Blue night as they chant, "I believe we will win." I mean, kind of hard to come in here and compete with this team.
I want to mention Isaac Whitaker also for Shorewood. On that last drive they had, he really seemed to be the spark that got their offense going with a couple of big runs as Okamura here drops back and throws the ball down the field to Cole Hutt, who is tackled short of the first down.
Hutt's had a pretty good game, too. He played pretty well in the first half, but couldn't keep up there with Ronnie Gary and as far as offense production.
That's right. Clock is ticking down as we hit 1 minute left.
Were you listening to my whole conversation? Oh, I was just complimenting Jess on his sideline camera work.
And we had a great crew out here tonight. We had Jess on the sideline with our sideline cameras. Okamura tries to avoid pressure again. Once again, gets the ball down the field to Ronnie Gary, who is not able to hold on to it as he's hit with the catch.
Huge thank you to Leslie and Todd, Phil, Ron, the whole team for another great production and another great night here for some Glacier Peak Thunderbirds
Shannon,
football.
who came out here, and I got to tell you, I love that girl.
She did a great job with the camera for us, making the game look pretty.
And thanks to you for tuning in tonight to listen to us and watch this landslide of a victory for the Grizzlies.
Last play of the game. Trick play going nowhere as they get brought down. And that is the end of the game. Your winners tonight are Glacier Peak with 57 and Shorewood with 7. Stay tuned for the player of the game.
And we'll have Ron chase down Dexter Carter here after the handshakes to get a player of the game, a Adrenaline Fundraising player of the game interview. And a huge thank you yet again to all our sponsors and our presenting sponsor, Gilpin Realty. Phil, what a game we watched tonight.
It really was an exciting one. I just want to read through some of our sponsors tonight with Adrenaline Fundraiser. First of all, bringing up the player of the game. For 20 years, Adrenaline Fundraising has been raising more money in less time for Washington schools. We are so confident in our fundraising program that we guarantee you results. Whether your team is looking for traditional fundraisers like gold cards or cookie dough, or you want to explore our new technology fundraisers that leverage your network, we have to help. Visit adrenalinefundraising.com. That's adrenalinefundraising.com to contact your local rep today. It's Adrenaline Fundraising, bringing you the player of the game.
Looks like we have Dexter Carter heading over to Ron right now. We'll have Ron get him all ready for our player of the game interview. Ron, go ahead when you're ready.
All right, down there on the field with Dexter Carter. Take a look up there. Dexter, you worked really hard out there tonight.
Yeah, I guess so. I did what I could, just to help my team.
Well, you had a lot of help, a lot of good players out there contributing tonight, but you had over 100 yards or something in the first half in there.
Yeah, I just, I had to redeem myself from last week because last week I was kind of shaky. And my motto this week was to just get better every week, and so I couldn't do anything without the help of my offensive line. So.
Well, you certainly couldn't, but you took quite a few hard hits out there. Any sore spots?
Just my ribs and my hands a little bit, but I'll be all right.
All right. Well, I got a player of the game shirt for you here tucked under my belt. Hold that up there, and we'll see if we can get a nice picture of you on the camera up there. Dexter Carter, player of the game for STSPN. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, back to you. I'll try to get Coach Roll here if I can in a minute.
And thank you, Ron, for grabbing Dexter Carter, our Adrenaline Fundraising player of the game here on STSPN. And it looks like he's going after the coach to see if he can get a post-game interview from the coach here.
That was a lot of modesty shown there by Dexter Carter, as you heard him say that he just wanted to help his team, which he certainly did tonight.
With over 100 yards in the first half, he was real modest about his performance. And yeah, he may have been shaky last week, but he for sure made up for it tonight. I mean, look, you had Guffey last week, Dexter Carter, Bunt tonight. This team is full of stars, and can't wait to see what they do going forward in this young season.
And if they keep that motto of getting better every week, it'll be incredible to see what they do next time. Shorewood next week looking to bounce back at home against Mount Lake Terrace. And they'll be wanting to avenge their loss tonight.
And then
what?
The Grizzlies will travel to Edmond Stadium to take on Linwood. They'll be back at Edmond Stadium at taking on Medrail the following week. And then, yet again, please tune back to the homecoming game versus Bellevue here in a few weeks. It's going to be a huge game. A lot on the line, and see if the Grizzlies can pull off the win against Powerhouse.
Absolutely. And as they go forward, looking to keep their perfect start going.
And with that, they are 2-0 to start this young season. Unfortunately, Shorewood falls to 0-2. See if they can bounce back next week, like you were saying, against Mount Lake Terrace.
Definitely bright spots on their team. They just need to look on building those up a little bit more. They did have impressive runs from Whitaker, and they could work on getting a few areas of improvement, like their offensive line.
Tell Shannon she's bumping something.
The drum line down on the field performing again as
lining up to recept their team coming in.
Players are
Shannon, you're bumping something.
Players out on the field getting a post-game talk from the coach. Got some.
And look at that, a nice ovation from the players to the fans to thank them for coming out tonight. Always great to see the players recognizing the fans for all they do for the team.
Yeah, it's great to see that support. There was a good turnout tonight from the